Storytelling. One of the most thrilling ways for you as a writer to complete two main tasks: entertain the masses and share a bit of your own experiences to give your readers a glimpse into new realities. And that's fine and all, that's even great. But your story doesn't do that. And here's why. Look, we get it. As writers, we tend to get a bit excited about our work, especially when a new idea pops in our minds. That idea can pop up at any moment, and when it does, there's no stopping our pens from writing and our fingers from typing exactly what comes to our mind. But what's stopping your story from being a showstopper is your habit of telling your readers what's happening instead of showing them. But don't worry. Today, we're going to put that bad writing habit of yours to rest with 5 tips that will help you combat this issue. Let's get started. So the first tip we have is to engage those senses. But what does that even mean? Well, it means exactly what it says. You're telling your story to human beings, not robots. So the scenes of your story need to include detailed breakdowns of the 5 senses we all experience: sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. For example, instead of just directly telling your audience how a character feels or describing a scene, make them experience it. To help you out, let's do an exercise. Take a moment to imagine the scent of freshly brewed coffee, the sound of distant laughter, or the rough texture of an old leather-bound book. Can you describe that experience in your mind? Like how the coffee smell danced around your nostrils, bringing an immense smile to your face? Or how each stroke of the book's cover formed goosebumps on your arm as you picked the perfect title? If so, then you just showed your audience those experiences instead of telling them those direct statements. Engaging the senses brings your writing to life and creates a vivid and immersive experience for your readers. Now let's get into tip 2, dialogue dynamics. This is something that most writers struggle with the most simply because they don't know how to properly implement dialogue in their stories. Because of that, there's too many paragraphs running throughout your book trying to sell your readers an experience they don't want to read. Remember, your goal is to take your readers on an experience through the book, not provide them with an informative book report. That's where dialogue comes in to save the day. So instead of telling readers what your characters are feeling or thinking, let their words do the talking. Show emotions through dialogue and let the subtext simmer beneath the surface. A well-crafted conversation can reveal more about your characters and their relationships than a paragraph of fluff ever could. Keep that in mind. Now it's time to get into our favorite tip. Sprinkle your story with descriptive details. It's been said that little details make a big difference, and that's the undeniable truth. Without details weaved within your story, your audience won't understand the main themes and the big picture you want them to take away from the story. They'll finish the story, if they finish it at all, with more questions than comments about the story itself, and in most cases, that's not what you want. So don't just tell your readers about a beautiful sunset, show them the golden hues reflecting off the rippling beach or the warmth of the fading sun against your character's skin. Take them on a journey on that day at the lake or the beach, or whatever scene you're trying to depict. Don't just tell them. Paint a masterpiece with your words, and don't hold back either. Another tip that we recommend is to master the art of body language. Actions speak louder than words, right? So make sure that's reflected in your story. On a side note, this is also the ultimate way to check yourself during your writing process as to whether you're showing your readers the scene at hand or telling them what you want them to know. So instead of telling your readers a character is nervous, show them the fidgeting fingers, the shifting gaze, the biting of their nails. Make those body languages work in your favor as you write. Keep in mind that body language is a powerful tool to convey emotions without directly stating them. It's literally your saving grace, so don't take it for granted. And finally, tip number 5, create the atmosphere. This is also known as world building, but this is your opportunity to take your readers from their current reality into a new atmosphere they've never been to before, or they're familiar with depending on your story arc. And failure to properly build the world you want them to walk into can result in a loss of interest in the story you have to tell them. So telling readers about the eerie mood of a haunted house is not going to work. Instead, show them the creaking floorboards, the flickering candlelight casting eerie shadows, and the distant howl of the wind. The goal here is to transport your audience into the heart of your story by creating a captivating atmosphere. That can be executed flawlessly, but only with the help of world building. Well, there you have it. 5 game-changing tips to help you master the delicate art of showing versus telling. Just remember that weaving a narrative is an art, and these tips are your brushes to paint that masterpiece that will wow your audience and keep them coming back for more. So go ahead, dive into your writing, and let the magic happen. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more next level writing tips, and share your own tips in the comments below. Also, make sure to share with a writer friend who you admire to help them become a better storyteller. Until next time, write with outrageous quality.